I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit sentient beings. Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam Lo Chanchu Bardo Tane Yazoji Lage Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Chola Benjir Sanje Jubare Jo Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam Lo Chanchu Bardo Tane Yazoji Lage Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Chola Benjir Sanje Jubare Jo Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam Lo Chanchu Bardo Dane Gyabso Chi Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Benjir Sanje Jubare Sho Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tejam Datha Gato Yevatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Datha Gato Yevatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Datha Gato Yevatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. The meaning of the mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes is well taught by the Gracia. Okay. Let us read the in praise of dependent origination. Page number 104. 104, 104. Page number 104. Okay. I'm going to quickly share a little bit about this background. Okay. So all these things which you find in this book, they're all extreme. Not just that, they're randomly put together. So they have own stories behind, background stories. With this, Lama Tsongkhapa, the author of the text, he was from 14th century AD. 14th century AD, a great enlightened master. And what happened was that he was studying, reflecting, meditating, and a great teacher, so many students. And then at one point, he was getting, very stable understanding of emptiness, and he wanted to double check if that corresponds to the ultimate import, ultimate intention of the Buddha, emptiness as the Buddha taught. He wanted to know that. And for this, at a Manjushri over there, the one with the sword in his hand. So this sword is symbolic of wisdom, to cut the darkness of ignorance. This is symbolic of the wisdom. And there was another teacher by the name Lama Umapa. Lama Umapa and Lama Tsongkhapa, two of them are like the mutual student teacher. So Lama Umapa received teachings from Lama Tsongkhapa. Lama Tsongkhapa also received teachings from Lama Umapa. In a way, these two are like mutual teacher students. And then Lama Tsongkhapa, at that point, Lama Umapa, the other teacher, he used to have a direct vision of Aramanjushri. Direct vision. He could see, he could communicate with the Aramanjushri. Then Lama Tsongkhapa sent a request message to Aramanjushri through Lama Umapa about the emptiness that Lama Tsongkhapa is experiencing. Does it tally with the ultimate import of Aranigarjuna? And within that, there are two schools. One is the Prasangika school, and the other one is Sava Tantrika Madhyamika school. There are two schools. And which of the two, it corresponds more closely to which of the two schools' emptiness? Then Aramanjushri sent a message back through Lama Umapa that your experience of emptiness is not that of the understanding of Aranigarjuna. But if you put effort in 3 points, then you will soon have the dawn of the experience of the most refined emptiness. Then the 3 pieces of advice we given. One, to make a very strong request to request and blessings from the deity to be viewed as one with one's own teacher. Number one. Then number two, to engage in the practice of purification and the accumulation merit. Practice of purification and merit accumulation. 2. Number 3, extensively study and reflect on the treatises by the Indian masters, earlier very standard Indian masters. Number 1, to seek blessing and to have make a fervent supplication and seek blessings from your guru to be seen in the light of your the patron deity. Number 1. Number 2, to rigorously engage in the purification processes and accumulation merit. Number 3, to engage in extensive studies, reflection, meditation on emptiness by extensively studying the standard texts composed by the Indian masters. Okay, so these are 3 messages, the advice given by Aramanjushri to Lama Tsongkhapa, and then finally Lama Tsongkhapa left with his, I think about like 8 students left for solitary retreat. And then within 11 months, the Lama Tsongkhapa followed all the instructions given by Aramanjushri. Within 11 months, the Lama Tsongkhapa, after completion of 11 months, Lama Tsongkhapa had an extraordinary dream. In the dream, he dreamed of Aranigarjuna and all the teachers related to the emptiness philosophy. He dreamed all of them. From there, one teacher with a little bit of dark complexion, who was seen as like Acharya Buddhapalita, who also wrote a commentary on Aranigarjuna's text, the Mula Madhyamika. And in the dream, out of Aranigarjuna's were there, all the teachers, the teachers related to the emptiness of philosophy, they were all sitting there, or like having some discussions or dialogues. From there, one teacher stood up. One of the students, not really that student, but lineage students, maybe a gap of like few hundred years. And the Acharya Buddhapalita, he stood up and then came to Lama Tsongkhapa and give a book, a scripture to Lama Tsongkhapa. And Lama Tsongkhapa received that in the form of blessings in the dream. Then next morning, a visitor came to offer a book to Lama Tsongkhapa. And the book, he opened it, it was a commentary by the Indian master who he dreamt of having passed the book to him. And he read it. And there's one when he just flipped through the pages, one section, just reading the one particular line, then the extremely refined understanding of emptiness just dawned in him at that very moment. And then instantly after that, he composed this short text, in praise of dependent origination. So what we are reading is the composition by Lama Tsongkhapa in the form of culmination of his experience of emptiness after many years of study, reflection, and meditation, and particularly under the blessings and instruction of Arya Manjushri. So this is background what we're reading. So therefore, what it suggests is particularly the people who are from the modern education, be it Asians or Westerners, what we suggest is that simply because there's a book on emptiness doesn't mean that is a standard book. You getting it? So don't fall prey to this. Oh, there's a book by this teacher, that teacher. Particularly with emptiness, with the bodhicitta, you can easily see, even though you may not be too much into bodhicitta, but you just study this, you can see that some books are very shallow, some very profound. Emptiness, initially you cannot figure out whose books are authentic, whose books are not authentic. You have no clue. And you can go in the wrong hands. It's like, say, dyeing a cloth. Dyeing cloth. If you first dye the cloth with a very dull or undesirable color, then to remove that and to dye it with a good color is very difficult. So therefore, for the emptiness, don't take it very lightly. Don't say that, oh, there's a book there. And I know why I'm saying that I'm so emphatic with this is because I know some authors of emptiness, contemporary authors, who are actually receiving teaching on emptiness now, for the first time receiving teaching on emptiness, after writing his own commentary. How can that happen? Look at Lama Tsongkhapa, such a brilliant teacher of so many students. Still he's consulting Arya Manjushri, whether my experience is okay or not. You getting it? Today we see this, and then the books all coming out, and people think that, oh, this book on emptiness this is where we can be misled, misguided, simply because it's a book doesn't mean anything, particularly on emptiness. After you getting a good understanding of emptiness with extensive studies of the authentic books, later on, then you can read any book. You just read the first page, you will see that this is a very shallow book, you will not like to read it. You read another book, you say that the logic is so inconsistent. Another book is I can easily figure out that the person's identification object negation extremely shallow and goes to the extreme what? Maximalist, redundancy, or minimalist inadequacy. I can face it for how come that this person writing book on emptiness? You're getting it? You will be the right person to decide at that point. Till you reach that point, you have to look for a very standard book. So one book that I would suggest to all of us, a simple book on emptiness would be How to See Yourself as You Really Are. How to See Yourself as You Really Are by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. It's a very good book on emptiness, simply because the book color is nice and author's book, author's name looks so exotic. Doesn't mean anything. So read the standard books till your understanding of emptiness is very good. Then you decide, and I will guarantee you that you read some books, you see this very shallow. In fact, the person does not know emptiness, and how come that he or she is writing on emptiness, right? You can know this. Okay, sometimes even some professors, they write books. They have to write books, right? In order to continue they yes, they have to write books and continue their professorship, right? So, and they asked me to, and they did not study Buddhist philosophy, right? They wrote in Buddhist philosophy. They do not study Buddhist logic. They write in Buddhist logic. They read something and they write something, and then they would come and request me, Geshe, please give me a forward to this. How can I give a forward? Right? I read it and there's so many mistakes there. How can I write a forward? Shall I write there's so many mistakes? Right? So what should I write? It's very complicated. So what I'm saying is that, and then these comes, and anybody who gives a forward, somebody will give a forward, and the forward will be say it's a very good book, readable. And if there's one book which you have to read on logic, I would suggest this book. You know, these the people who give the blurb, you call it blurb, or you call it the blurb is a shorter version, a more formal. The forward, you have to write something nice about the author. And it's not true. There's so many mistakes there. How can I promote this? So these are the problems. In short, simply because the book of emptiness does not mean anything. Get hold of an authentic book which will not mislead you. Okay. The one book that I would suggest is by His Holiness. What is that? How to see yourself as you really are. And then if your knowledge becomes a little deeper, and particularly those of us who are doing the master's course to NMC2, the NMC2 and NTC4, the NTC2, of course, NMC2, you will get a chance to study Acharya Chandrakirti's text very soon, meaning next year, early next year. And then the NTC4, most likely we are going to club NTC4 and NMC2 with the study of the Acharya Chandrakirti's text. So you can also join the study of emptiness. So for this, the root text is by Acharya Chandrakirti, Entry into the Middle Way, or the Madhyamika Avatara. And then the commentary we use is by Lama Tsongkhapa. Fortunately, I've been waiting for this commentary to be translated into English for all these many years. So finally, an extremely good refined translation came out by Dr. Thupten Jimba. His translation is excellent translation. It came out finally after I think about like 15, 17 years. It came out and illuminating the true intent. This should be the title of the book. And of course, don't expect that you read it and you understand. You would not understand anything. It must be taught. You're getting it? Say, one of the trends of the Western philosophers is just to read some book and then you give a comment. This is where the profound Buddhist philosophies do not work like this. Arya Nagarjuna's text, you read it, and then you read it for 2-3 days, and then you say it's nihilism, idealism. This is what is a very common trend amongst the people who study Western philosophy. So this is a very dangerous thing. You would not carry anything. And whereas if you simply want to write something, not for your own growth, to cut the tears of samsara, if that is not the purpose, it's okay. Whereas if the purpose is to identify, to awaken your true nature within yourself, then you have to take Arya Nagarjuna's treatises very seriously, because these are all the thoughts as an explanation of what the Buddha taught which the Buddha realized under the Bodhi tree here. That is not that simple. It's extremely sophisticated topic. You cannot just read it for 2-3 days and then you write a commentary or you just say it's idealism. Okay, so this is where we need to take care of. With this mind, let's read this now. In Praise of Dependent Origination by Lama Tsongkhapa, 14th century great Tibetan Buddhist master. Okay, in fact here, the first 36 verses, they are a little technical. It's all about emptiness, dependent origination. And if possible, we have to study this separately, but we don't have time. We're going to read this. Then after about like 36 verses, to the sixth verse, then they become easier. It's more about the sharing of the experience rather than the technical aspect of the emptiness. Okay, let's read this. And during the afternoon session, if you think that you have some questions from this, bring this up. I'll be happy because for time being, I cannot dedicate too much time. Okay, let's do together. He who speaks on the basis of saying this makes him a knower and teacher unexcelled. I bow to you, O conqueror, you host who dependent origination and taught it. Whatever degenerations there are in the world, the root of all these is ignorance. You taught that it is dependent origination, the seeing of which will undo this ignorance. So, how can an intelligent person not comprehend that this path of dependent origination is an essential part of your teachings? This being so, who will find, O Savior, a more wonderful way to praise you than to praise you for having taught this origination through dependence? Whatever depends on conditions, that is devoid of intrinsic existence. What excellent instruction can there be more amazing than this proclamation? By grasping at it, the child is strengthened bondage to extreme views. For the wise, this very fact is the doorway to cut free from the net of elaborations. Since this teaching is not since elsewhere, your role as the teacher, like calling a fox a lion, for a Tirthika, it will be a word of flattery. Wondrous teacher, wondrous refuge, wondrous speaker, wondrous savior, I pay homage to that teacher who taught well dependent origination. To help heal sentient beings, O benefactor, you have taught the peerless reason to ascertain emptiness, the heart of the teaching. This way of dependent origination, those who perceive it as contradictory or as unestablished, how can they comprehend your system? If for you, when one sees emptiness in terms of the meaning of dependent origination, then being devoid of intrinsic existence and possessing valid functions do not contradict. Whereas when one sees the opposite, since there can be no function in emptiness, no emptiness in what has function, one falls into the dreadful abyss you maintain. Therefore, in your teaching, seeing dependent origination is hailed, that too not as an utter non existence, nor as an intrinsic existence. The non-contingent is like a sky flower, hence there is nothing that is not dependent. If things exist through their essence, their dependence on causal conditions for the existence is a contradiction. Therefore, since no phenomena exists other than origination through dependence, no phenomena exists other than being devoid of intrinsic existence, you taught. Because intrinsic nature cannot be negated, if phenomena did possess some intrinsic nature, nirvana would become impossible and elaborations could not be ceased, you taught. Therefore, who could challenge you, you who proclaim with lion's roar in the assembly of learned ones repeatedly that everything is utterly free of intrinsic nature? That there is no intrinsic existence at all, and that all functions as this arising, and depends on that, what need is there to say that these two converge without conflict? It is through the reason of dependent origination that one does not lean towards the extremes, and that you say the Savior have declared this excellently is the source of your unexcelled speech. All of this is devoid of essence, and that from this arises that effect. These two sentences complement each other with no contradiction at all. What is more amazing than this, what is more marvelous than this, if one praises you in this manner, this is real praise, otherwise not. Being enslaved by ignorance, those who fiercely oppose you, what is this astonishing about their being unable to bear the sound of the no intrinsic existence? But having accepted dependent origination, the precious treasure of your speech, then not tolerating the roar of emptiness, this I find amazing indeed. The door that leads to no intrinsic existence, this unexcelled door of dependent origination, through his name alone, if you grasp at intrinsic existence, now this person who lacks the unraveled entrance, well traveled by the noble ones, by what means should one guide him to the excellent path that pleases you? Intrinsic nature, uncreated, non contingent, dependent origination, contingent and created, how can these two converge upon a single basis without contradiction? Therefore, whatever originates dependently, though primordially free of intrinsic existence, appears as if it does possess intrinsic existence. So you taught all this to be illusion like. Through this very fact, I understand well the statement that in what you have taught, those opponents who challenge you cannot find faults that accord with reason. Why is this so? Because by declaring these, chances for reification, denigration towards things seen and unseen are made more remote. Through this very path of dependent origination, the rationale for your speech being peerless conviction arises in me also that your other words are valid too. You who speak excellently by seeing as it is, for those who train in your footsteps, all degenerations will become remote, for the root of all faults will be undone. But those who turn away from your teaching, though they may struggle with hardship for a long time, faults increase ever more as if being called forth, for they make firm the view of self. Aha, when the wise comprehend the differences between these two, why would they not at that point revere you from the depths of their being? Let alone your numerous teachings, even the meaning of a small part, those who find ascertainment in a cursory way, this brings supreme bliss to them as well. Alas, my mind was defeated by ignorance, though I've sought refuge for a long time. In such an embodiment of excellence, I possess not a fraction of his qualities. Nonetheless, before the stream of this life flowing towards death has come to ease, and I have found slight faith in you, even this I think is fortunate. Among teachers that teach of dependent origination, among wisdom, the knowledge of dependent origination, you who are most excellent like these kings of the world, know this perfectly well, nor others. All that you've taught proceeds by way of dependent origination, that too is done for the sake of nirvana. You have no deeds that do not bring peace. How amazing your teaching is such, in whomever ears it falls, they all attain peace. So who would not be honored to uphold your teaching? It overcomes all opposing challenges. It is free from contradictions between earlier and latter paths. It grants fulfillment of being's two aims. For this system, my joy increases evermore. For its sake, you have given away again and again over countless eons, sometimes your body, others your life, as well as your loving care and resources of wealth. Seeing the qualities of this teaching pulls hard at your heart, just like what a hook does to a fish. Sad it is not to have heard it from you. The intensity of that sorrow does not let go of my mind, just like the mind of a mother constantly goes after her dear child. Here too, as I reflect on your words, I think blazing with the glory of noble marks and hallowed in the net of light rays, his teacher in a voice of pristine melody spoke thus in such a way. The instant such a reflection in the sage's form appears in my mind, it soothes me, just as moonbeams heal a fever's pain. This excellent system, most marvelous, some individuals who are not so learned have entangled it in utter confusion, just like the entangled bulbuzzer. Seeing this situation, I strove with a multitude of efforts to follow after the learned ones and sought intention again and again. At such times as I studied the numerous works of both our own middle way and other schools, my mind became tormented evermore, constantly by the network of doubts. The night lily groves of Nagarjuna's treatises, Nagarjuna, whom you prophesied, would unravel your unexcelled vehicle as it is, shining extremes of existence and non-existence. Illuminated by the garland of white lights of Chandra's well-uttered insights, Chandra, whose stainless wisdom orb is full, who glides freely across the scripture space, who dispels the darkness of extremist hearts and outshines the constellation of these false speakers. When through my teacher's kindness I saw this, my mind found rest at last. Of all your deeds, your speech is supreme. Within that too, it is your speech is remember the Buddha through this teaching of dependent origination. Following such a teacher and having become a renunciate, having studied the Conqueror's words not too poorly, this monk who strives in the yogic practices such as depth of this reverence to the great seer. Since it is due to my teacher's kindness, I have met with the teaching of the unexcelled teacher, I dare get this virtue too towards the cause for all beings to be sustained by sublime spiritual mentors. May the teaching of this beneficent one till world's end be unshaken by the winds of ill thoughts. May it always be met by innumerable beings who find conviction in the teacher by understanding the teaching's true nature. May I never falter even for an instant to uphold the excellent of the sage, which illuminates the principle of dependent origination through all my births, even giving away my body and life. May I spend day and night carefully reflecting by what means can I enhance this teaching achieved by the Supreme Savior through strenuous efforts over countless eons. As I strive in this with pure intention, may Brahma, Indra, and the world's guardians and protectors such as Mahakala unswervingly always assist me. Okay. Um, so the method of equalizing and exchange self others, we are done with the first three steps. Now the step 4 and 5. Step 4 is what? Taking the self from others with emphasis on compassion. Whereas step 5, giving happiness to others with emphasis on loving kindness. Very good. So these two combined together is known as the practice of Tonglen. Tong means to give, Len is to take. Okay. Um, so now how we do that? That is first, let's say the taking the suffering from others, the suffering that you take, and there's so many ways of doing it. It's not that you say my version is correct and other versions are wrong if they differ. This is not the point. This is totally wrong. That they any version is fine. Any version is fine as long as it is the effect in your mind to undermine your self-centered attitude and to increase your compassion. If that happens, everything's fine. So the what I do is that on the basis of the very standard positions, not like I just create my own the set of meditation. No, the standard position is the suffering that we take. The suffering the Buddha taught is of three kinds. So we take the three kinds of suffering one by one. Then whatever we do becomes something which is in line with the Buddha's own teachings. That would be very hard. Otherwise, if we do it too much and we don't know whether it's help or it harms us, meaning that if it is not beneficial, what's the point of wasting your time? So, whereas if you see that it is in line with the Buddha's teachings, no doubt you end up correct path. So, with this mind, the suffering that we take is of three kinds: suffering change, pervasive condition suffering. Three. And when we take this, how we do is that first we take the suffering. And as I said earlier, I don't think that any other version different from this, and they don't think that they're wrong. Anything is fine. But what I'm trying to do is to make it very comprehensive in line with what the Buddha taught. So first we take the suffering, which means all the manifest suffering. Somebody say in Ukraine and Russia, how many people are dying? And in Gaza Strip, how many people they're becoming children are becoming orphans, and how the many parents are losing their children, so much of pain everywhere, so much of tears everywhere. So take the suffering as you breathe in. As you breathe in, just imagine all the pains that others are going through. For example, like in KFCs, how many chickens are being killed there? And these are all undesirable. For example, I tell my so nowadays I, there are always some change happening, and year by year there's change happening with what even what I teach. Even it also changes. I can see that. So earlier, like 15 years ago, they so much as what I share my personal experience of related to vegetarianism. One that um, yes, as a child I was non-veg, but non-veg meaning for us non-veg is I think today's like veg, because what non-veg you get in 1 week you will get 2 pieces of meat like this, small pieces. You know, that's it. That's non-veg when you were a small child. Okay, then then when I was more independent with my food, meaning that in IBD, I Institute Buddhist Dialectics, I still dependent on the common kitchen. Still there, you can become vegetarian. And then Drepung, I was cooking on my own. Then I switched to vegetarian because of the choice. And yet, I was becoming so weak physically because of negligence with the food. It's not because of the vegetarian food, because of negligence with my food. So much of into my studies, and then I became so weak, and then the relatives, my friends, they saw me. Then they feel so sympathetic. Oh, you're Damdul, you have to, you have to take non-veg, then you also say, yes, I'm sick, right? Then I turn to veg, non-veg. Again, when they're away, again I begin veg. Say on, off, on, off. And then from 2004, completely non-veg, completely veg, completely vegetarian. And then I tell the people openly, I tell people that because of my childhood upbringing was extremely poor condition. So I said that in case if what is that, chicken tandoori or what, chicken chili or what, if these are grown like vegetables, if they grow like vegetable, I said that I would every day eat chicken tandoori. But they don't grow like this. They have to go through the pain. How selfish I would be just for my taste, that let somebody go through the pain. The pain of what? Not just a pain. It's a huge pain for us. Just even somebody pinch you, pain. Even somebody just like say what? The needle pricking is so painful. And in some cases, local anesthesia is required to avoid the pain, right? The doctors, right? Where do doctors here? So for the teeth, right? You can't imagine even the sound of this drilling machine. And then if there's no local anesthesia, it's very scary. You're getting it? This is the reality. And the poor chicken, there's no anesthesia, and it's not just touching it's not just like a pinch. It's slitting the throat. It's extremely unkind, extremely, I would say, harsh, unkind, selfish. So this is what I used to tell people, that if that the chicken grows like potato or the cabbage like this, then I would always eat chicken. But the reality is no, it's very different. Somebody's go through pain. And then 2009, I suffered from tuberculosis, lung tuberculosis. For the diagnosis, I went through the scan and for the biopsy. For to take the biopsy, I have to go, and then even to take the sample, it was so acutely painful with the local anesthesia. Still, it was so painful. There was one Tibetan girl, Tibetan nurse, who my friends assigned to her. She was from that hospital working there, assigned her to assess me, and she came there. And then coming off this the, there was so much pain. And then for the biopsy, what is that? FNCA, right? Fine needle. FNC, what is? Okay, okay. Okay, let me say, I cannot see what you say. I cannot say what you're saying. FNCA, right? FNAC. Okay. A fine needle aspirational. Okay. Yes. So the doctor was to take a sample out of this for FNAC, and the doctor said warned me that, okay, she explained all the procedures and told me, if you have any question now, he said, if you have question, ask me now. When we start the procedure, you are not allowed to ask me any question, right? This is what he categorically told me. And then I didn't have any question.
the next day, the actual, the biopsy, to take the biopsy. Then now everything is in his hand. I couldn't do anything. No question. Not allowed. So he said that first I'm going to give you a local anesthesia. He injected. That's fine. Then the syringe, needle, right? Injected to take the sample from the lungs. And he said that first I will inject it, and I don't know whether it hits that spot of the lung. If it so to see that, I'll keep it there and I'll put in the scan. If I see that it hits there, perfect, well and good, lucky. If not, I have to redo it, right? And when he actually injected me, or the needle there, it was acutely painful. I could, to my ear, I could hear this sound like tick 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 tick. It's all like the boulder is crushing on me. This was the pain. And he said, no question. He said that if you move, all procedures will have to be repeated again. So I could not move. The pain was so acute. I cannot utter a word. And then he put me in scan. Luckily, it was just one time. He hit the target properly. Then came out, and then they so painful. Then I asked the Tibetan nurse, are you vegetarian? She said no. I said, we the human beings are extremely selfish. This is what I told her. Just for our own taste, for a nice taste, we just slaughter the animals like a potato. It's so selfish. I said that for this look, just a needle, not slitting your throat, just a needle, and that with the local anesthesia. Still, I could not bear the pain. What a mention of this tiny creature who had to go through the throat slit altogether without any anesthesia. It's not a needle, it's a knife. It's so selfish on a part. And then I asked her, can you become vegetarian? She said yes. Then after a year, I met her again. She and her friends, she must be sharing this story with her friends. And the first thing the friends, they were telling me is, Geshe, she's still vegetarian. Right? That's amazing. Okay, I really appreciate it. Okay, so with this mind, final point is that we talk about compassion. We talk about universal compassion for your own benefit, but talk about it, we have to take some steps. And usually, I'm not aggressive vegetarian promoter. I'm not aggressive. I'm vegetarian myself, but I don't aggressively promote vegetarian. Why? Why? Because that sometimes the vegetarian promoters, they become extreme, go to extreme, to the extent, so like the non-veg, they are like demons. That is too much, because amongst the non-vegetarians, there are many people who are actually supporter of animal rights. In a way, how you present yourself is that even those people who otherwise support, they would, pull back from supporting. So we can be extremely unskillful. So therefore, my personal view is that I don't believe in Gate. I don't believe in Gate Bodhiswaha. I believe in Gate para samgate Bodhiswaha. I believe in this. I don't believe in Gate Bodhiswaha. So I cannot change the mantra. What's the mantra? How's the mantra? Gate para samgate Bodhiswaha. Even if it's long, you have to just say this. You cannot make it short. Gate Bodhiswaha. You're getting it? We cannot expect everybody to be perfect overnight. If a non-vegetarian, I listened to one week with him. Finally, he said, vegetarian. No, I'm too bad. I'm the non-veg. No, don't feel guilty. I'm being very honest. There's no reason why I should be, just flattery or saying something. I strongly believe that if you're non-veg, just see how much step you can take. Gate, don't jump to Gate Bodhiswaha, right? So whatever step you do, some people after this number talk, they will say that Geshe, with your talk, I'm very sorry I cannot become the vegetarian completely, but at least that I've stopped buying meat from the shop. I stopped cooking meat in my house. I do eat outside. Some people say like this. This is amazing. I really appreciate you have taken a step. You have taken the first step. Gatte gatte. Then some people say that I stopped taking chickens because the chicken and the bigger meat, these are very different. Chicken, if you go to the market and if there's chicken is not available, they will say wait for 5 minutes. What is 5 minutes? They will kill another chicken for you. Whereas the big meat, they say if it's over, they'll say no, come tomorrow, not today. So that is very different. So some say that I stopped taking chicken. I take other, just the step that I've taken. I appreciate. And some people they say that the I take meat once in a while. Usually I take every day. Now I take only twice a week. That's amazing. And some people say that at least during the Sagadawa, the 4th month of the lunar calendar, I refrain from the non-veg food. Even that you've taken a step is amazing. And some people say that the that I can't be vegetarian. I can't be vegetarian, but I really appreciate people who are vegetarian. Even this appreciation is so precious. So the point is that this is my personal take. I don't really aggressively go to talk about vegetarianism. I appreciate anybody taking any step, and even if somebody simply appreciates the vegetarian approach, even that is greatly admirable. Okay, this is my take. So, with this in mind, taking the suffering of others, taking the suffering of others, say the first taking the suffering of others, the suffering of suffering. So for this, okay, now let us sit up. How we do that? As you breathe in, as you breathe in, the sufferings other go through, like say in the Ukraine or in the Gaza Strip or in the KFC or anywhere domestic violence, so forth. Think of all, and then people in the hands of the terrorists, people in the five-star hotel, the fish, the crabs, and so forth. Just think of them, and they manifest suffering. Imagine that you are just as you breathe in, these manifest suffering, they transform into a extremely dirty water, acidic and extremely dirty water gushing through your left nostril as you breathe in. And they just gush through your left nostril, and then as you breathe in, then they go through your heart. At the heart, imagine that self-centered attitude is lying there. Self-centered, self-grasping ignorance, these two are lying there at your heart since time immemorial as their permanent residence. Now, suddenly, this dirty, extremely dirty, acidic, the black, the water, they gush through your left nostril. They then come to the heart. They eat up these fight with self-centered, self-grasping ignorance, and then they, as you breathe out, they go down through your legs, through your feet, through underground. Okay, let's do it 3 times. And then meanwhile, if you do come across your friends, your family members, people who are suffering from some the ailment, so forth, or going through difficult times, just visualize them next to you and doing this practice, taking their suffering on you in the same manner. Okay, first suffering 3 times. Ready? With you, or reiterating that what we are doing here and what other teachers may suggest may differ. If they differ, don't think that they're incomplete, they're wrong like this. Anything's fine as long as there's a benefit for you. So what we're trying to do here is trying to make it completely like comprehensive, and which is the nothing but the Buddha's own teachings. So the Buddha taught 4 kinds of generosity. Giving meaning, generosity. 4 kinds of generosity. First, the generosity of material resources. Generosity of material resources, number 1. Number 2, generosity of affection. Generosity of love and affection, number 2. Number 3, generosity of protection or generosity of fearlessness. Generosity of protection or generosity of fearlessness. Then finally, the generosity of dharma. Okay. Generosity of material resources, generosity of affection, generosity of fearlessness or protection, and generosity of dharma, 4. And as a first, generosity of material resources. As you breathe out, just visualize that all the material resources that you have, and the material resources are the result of virtues. The virtues that you have, you send them through your right nostril as you breathe out in the form of white nectars or white light, very soothing white light right through your right nostril. As you breathe out, they touch with the beings who are deprived of material resources. And the moment they touch, these lights and nectars touch with the beings who are deprived of material resources. Imagine that these lights and the nectars, they transform into material resources like food, housing, safety, any material things that the other person requires, like money and so forth. They transform in these, and then they feel so relieved. Imagine that the beings, they feel so relieved that all these, the poverty that they were stricken for the last many years, is finally solved by the practice of the giving. Okay, ready? 3 times. Good. Next, giving the generosity of affection. Many people who go through the pain of the feeling of loneliness or depression, anxiety, and so forth, just because that they need the feeling of affection. And imagine that as you breathe out, these lights and nectars that you sent out, nothing but your virtues manifest in form of these lights and the nectars. They go, that touch with the beings. Their mere touch transforms into the Buddha's bodhisattvas, and they give so much love and affection, embrace to each one of them, to the extent that they feel the love and affection, and instantly they feel the healing. They're being uplifted from the elevated, they're taken out from the depression and so forth, feeling of loneliness and so forth. Okay, 3 times. Okay, next, generosity of protection or generosity of fearlessness. Again, as the lights and nectars from your body, but nothing but a manifestation of your virtues of bodhicitta, wisdom. They go in the form of white nectars and lights. The mere touch of these, they transform into yourself, from yourself, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and then where people live in fear, like in Ukraine or in Gaza Strip, the people live to fear fear, and in the hands of the terrorists, and in hotels, the chef, they are about to break the limbs of the crabs or chop the fish. So just think of these, and then imagine that this light, the mere touch transforms you into the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and even yourself there. And then you talking to these, for example, the chef, saying that, okay, please release this, I'll pay you. And then you free the poor creatures. To the terrorists also, you tell them that if you can, then you tell them that please release this and I'll give you whatever ransom that you need. And if at all you have to kill somebody, then you kill me rather than killing the other person. Then imagine that the person is slitting, the terrorist is slitting your throat, and what's the feeling like? Whereas if you cannot do that, don't do it. Those people who can do it, and those who feel that it's extremely mentally so torturing or so disturbing, then don't do that. Instead, you just imagine that you are paying some ransoms and that the captives were released, and the KFC, all the chickens were released to meet with the mother hens, and feel so happy. So likewise in the Ukraine, or where in the Gaza Strip, just see that all these wars are stopped and they meet with the children, meet with the parents and so forth. Okay, 3 times. If possible, do one specific instant at a time. Okay, next. Generosity of Dharma. Dharma is the four dharmas. One, Dharma of renunciation. Number 2, Dharma of Bodhicitta. Number 3, Dharma of wisdom of emptiness. Number 4, the Dharma of the non-dual wisdom and emptiness. Let me repeat it. The Dharma of renunciation, Dharma of Bodhicitta, Dharma of the wisdom of emptiness, and finally, the Dharma of non-dual, the Dharma of non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Okay, so as you breathe out, again, the next exercise, they touch with the beings, they manifest in the form of the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, and so forth, and you yourself also there, and then they give the teachings to these beings about the renunciation, and the beings learn through these Buddhas Bodhisattvas how to renounce yourself from the negative karmas, negative thoughts, renounce from self-centered attitudes, self-grasping ignorance. Let's think of that, and imagine they are freed from freed from the sufferings. 3 times. Okay, all along these practices, some of us may feel that they're so superficial. It doesn't matter. This is how we have to begin, and this is the meaning of the practice. Next is the Dharma of Bodhicitta. Again, the mere touch of this transforms into the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and you're also there giving the teaching Bodhicitta. And the beings, they start to embrace each other with total love and affection, realizing how beautiful this Bodhicitta is, and paving the way to attain the ultimate full awakening. 3 times. Okay, good. And the first 2 teachings, renunciation bodhicitta, then from aspiration. Now we must look for something to materialize these 2 aspirations. That is the wisdom of emptiness. So, our teaching of the wisdom of emptiness 3 times. Okay, next, the union of bliss and emptiness. Teach on the union of bliss and emptiness. This is where you never feel tired. You feel full of energy, of joy, and the joy, seeing emptiness. The joy makes you to work for sentient beings, and the emptiness will not trap you in the joy. 3 times. Okay, good. Okay, this is number 4 and number 5. What is number 6? Actual exchange of self and others. So number 6 does not have any special thing to do. Just make a fresh commitment. Henceforth, now that I see the benefit of cherishing others, I see the demerit of cherishing oneself. Henceforth, if there's a choice given to me to cherish somebody, I will cherish others more than to myself. Henceforth, if I were to be indifferent or oblivious to somebody, I would rather be indifferent or oblivious to myself, to the self, more than to others. We have to make a very strong commitment like this. Okay, let's just feel that. Actual exchange of self and others. This is it doesn't mean that I will become you, you will become me. It simply means that I'm going to exchange the object of the cherishing. Henceforth, I will cherish others more than myself. Henceforth, I will be oblivious, indifferent to myself more than others. Okay, just feel that very strong as much as you can. With a very clear awareness that selfishness is the one which destroys me. So therefore, they say cherishing others is like a safe haven for me to rescue me from this demon of self-centered attitude. Good. What is next? Special recollection of the kindness of others. So special meaning that which the ordinary people cannot do. So therefore it becomes special. What is that thing that ordinary people cannot do? For example, say we have 3 kinds of beings: neutral, the near and dear ones, neutral beings, and the difficult people. And the near and dear ones, yes, we can remember the kindness. This is what even ordinary people can do. But the kindness of the neutral beings, ordinary people don't really do that. Then the kindness of the difficult people, no way. Right? Right? Say, when I was young, like age 20, 21, I was meditating on bodhicitta, right? Then all the steps, step 1, the first method with 7 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 6 1. 6 1 is, right? I will take the the altruism. I will take the responsibility that all the sentient beings are freed from suffering and they have the maximum happiness. And how will do that? May I become Buddha. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And suddenly there's one person who comes to my mind. That person was extremely difficult person to me all along my childhood. Extremely difficult, so problematic. The moment when I say, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, this person comes to my mind. Instantly, then I would say, except for this person. Right? So this is not bodhicitta. You're getting it? This is not bodhicitta. So therefore, the point is that we should, about difficult people. Some people, they are into dharma for so long, and still they would categorically say that no way, I can't really practice compassion to this person. They categorically say it's not that when we practice bodhicitta, it's of course that to practice bodhicitta doesn't mean that the very next day your mindful compassion will flow to everyone. No, it will not happen. It takes long time. It takes long time to actually make it that it becomes real. But at least we should not have what deliberate deliberate this holding the grudge against somebody, saying that no way, I cannot think of, I cannot be compassionate towards that person. These attitudes must be dropped. This is something which we can do, but if we don't do that, then it's very difficult. So therefore, our attitude must be that what about near and dear ones? Usually we say that no, difficult people, no way, right? But here, this is something which the ordinary people cannot do. If you can do that, it becomes very special. So therefore, this is known as the special recollection of the kindness of others. So what we said yesterday, no, 2 days before, what we said was that finally how to build this universal compassion. Our job is what? Don't say that I have to practice compassion. What the job is? To feel the maximum happiness and to get rid of fears. Start from there. If you start from there, you're from the ground. Are you the one who wants maximum happiness and don't not want to suffering? Are you the one? If you say yes, louder. Right? Okay, yes. When you say yes, which means you have found the ground. If you say, "Oh, the purpose of life is to practice compassion," most likely you have not found the ground. You're getting it because there was maybe I was 24, 5, 6 when I was in Damdul monastery. And when I was in the town, Hubli town, I met one Western lady, and she was so happy to meet a Buddhist monk. And she said that, "Oh, that event was so good." I said that don't go to that extent, because I could see the prospective danger that when you really see somebody who's nasty, then you will really feel that what his whole life is shattered. Your dharma, your whole confidence will be shattered. So therefore, I said that no, this is not how you should take things, right? We should be very realistic. Don't just put on the you put in what their tatura. Tatura is one, they say, the wild fruit. If you eat it, you see everything is gold, right? There's no gold there. You are hallucinating. You're getting it. So don't put on the hallucination in your eyes, in the mind's eye. You're getting it. So the point is that that we have to then you may cut off from the practice altogether. You may leave your dharma practice altogether. Very dangerous. You have to find the ground. You're getting what's the ground? Ground is that I am somebody who seeks maximum happiness to get and to stay away from miseries. This is the ground. If you agree with me, always start from there. Then whatever you do will be very safe. You will not feel burnout. You will not say bye bye to dharma, right? Okay, now they say then, yeah, so okay. So therefore, the point is that we need to really find the ground. Always begin by saying that why I'm doing this practice is because that I want maximum happiness. I don't want to suffer. If that's the case, then you have to practice universal compassion, because with the compassion, accompanying feeling is very pleasant, and compassion expands. Your happiness expands. This is the secret of happiness. Compassion expands. So compassion to infinite beings. You have infinite joys. Wow, this is amazing. What do you mean by infinite beings? Including difficult people. Yes. So how can I practice compassion towards people? My mind does not flow. My mind restricts. It simply holds back. What should I do? Okay. How many of mind flow can easily flow towards your near and dear ones? Raise hands. Good. So some of the people who say that no, I don't mind any other people. My mother's problem, my father's problem, you know, my husband's problem, my my what, my wife's a problem, right? Some people, some wives, they will say that, say the child they must have like 2 children, And if how many children you have, she would say, I have 3 babies. Right? 3 babies. Who are they? One is the husband, and then 2, right? Okay. So some people, yes, I've heard it. No, other people have no issue, right? Difficult people, I have no issue. My mother's a problem. I cannot, I cannot really, the practice bodhicitta on my mother. I've seen people like this. You're getting it? Okay, which means that if mother is the issue, you have not seen the reality of the difficult people. When the difficult people hits you, then you will be shocked. You're getting it? So mother is somebody, generally speaking, out of 1 million, or let's say, out of let's say 100,000, let's say, out of 100,000 mothers, in other words, I would say then 99.99% of the mothers, they took care of their children so well when you are age 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when you needed the mother's love and affection the maximum, they've taken care of you 100%. The problems all started when you were age 14, 15, 16, particularly 16. Then the problem starts. You're getting it? And then you think that you are self-sufficient and you want privacy. And the mother calls you in the evening. Where are you? My dear, where are you? What, my dear? Right? Right. So this is a problem. You're getting it? I'm witness. So I'm still in the class. Where the class? You are not in the class. You are in the pubs, right? Or with your friends somewhere roaming around, right? I'm in the classroom. And so forth. All this. Then the mother said, no, I know you're in the classroom. You are not in the classroom. Yes, I'm in the classroom. And then the what sour, the relationship builds up, become stronger, stronger, stronger. And these things happen. Okay. So we have not much time. What do you do now? Huh? Okay, quickly, just finish this off. So if you can learn, and in a real life challenges or real life experience, if we can overcome one difficult person, if you learn the art of dealing with one difficult person, the same difficult person, how many times in your life you may meet with hundreds of such cases. If you know how to deal with one case, the remaining 100 cases are solved. You're getting it? Is that person kind to you or not? Who trained you to not to face the remaining 100% problems? Is that kind or not? Okay, very kind. Let's say, how many of you know Muhammad Ali? Muhammad Ali raise hands. How many don't know Muhammad Ali? Yeah, how many don't? Everyone knows. And who is he? A professor. Who is that? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm not talking about. Okay, don't go into. We have no time. Just explain. He's a legendary boxer. You're getting it? If you're a boxer, you want to be an average boxer or legendary boxer? Legendary boxer. Don't say legendary boxer, right? There's no enthusiasm there. Say, if you want to be a boxer, you want to be an average boxer or legendary boxer? Legendary boxer. If you want to be a legendary boxer, don't keep your mom as your coach. If you want to be a legendary boxer, don't keep your mom as your coach. Your mother will never give you a hard punch. If the coach doesn't give you a hard punch, you will never learn how to stop the hard punches. You're getting it? So say when you become legendary boxers are the boxers who can stop the hardest of the punches, right? For this, your trainer must be some difficult person. Who gives the hard punches? Near and dear one or the difficult people? Which means he's here to meet with the difficult people, right? He doesn't know what is up the difficult people. Yeah, young people, yeah, young. So once, I shared this in the class. I shared this in the class that when I was appointed as director of Tibet House, I shared this class. Right, young director, right, young man. which means totally inexperienced. You have not seen the world, right? Then you will cry to missing your father. His father's amazingly kind, and still he doesn't know that. Okay, so never mind. You'll meet, right? You'll meet with your father-in-law. Don't worry. Right? Don't worry. Your uncle-in-law, father-in-law, so many laws are yet to meet. Don't worry. Yeah, then you'll see your father's father is very kind. Okay, so with this, the point is that the say neutral beings, how they're kind, in ways that, for example, okay, just to make it very simple, that we're here in the under the fan. The fan, a fan is a product of what? Electricity should be there, and what else? The metal should be there, plastic should be there. Just think of the fan, right? And the food that we get, the plate that we use, the cushion under which we sit, and then all these clothes that you use, the hall, beautiful hall. Everything is the effort of millions and millions and millions of people, believe it or not. You're getting it? And the saying, these buildings, when they were built, say the workers, they must have worked in the hottest of the season. Temperature here, Bodhgaya sometimes can hit 47, 48, 49, 50 sometimes. You're getting it? And when they're working, there's no AC, there's no fan hanging in the air, right? Under the scorching sun. And if this situation of the father and the mother, what about the children? Right? You think, oh, children with the babysitters. No. If they're the babysitter, they will, if they can afford babysitters, they will not work like this. You're getting it? Under scorching sun. So where are these children? And often I still remember when I was very young, say the parents, they're working, constructing the road construction, and the children, little children, little the what I call the toddlers, they were being tied around their waist with the long rope, or yeah, long rope, and the rope and other end of the rope tied to the big the stone or rock. The child can move around, but under scorching sun, there's no AC, right? So this is how these roads came into existence. These roads, the electricity, they're all the plastic, metal come from where? The mining, from the ores, from the mines. And the miners, who are these? They died. Why should they give their life if they can afford a babysitter for their children? So how many people die just for the electricity that we're using, the food that we're getting, the beautiful place that we're enjoying? How many people die? They all you have these very sophisticated watches, the mobiles. How many people died? Do you know these people? Even though you paid them, for example, say the mobile, you may pay, like, say, the 20,000, 50,000 rupees. But life, what is the cost of the life? What is the cost of life? Beyond money. And yet they paid the price. They lost their life. How many lives were lost? How many children died because of that? So, and because of this, that we get all these facilities years after years, decades after decades, centuries after centuries. We get the benefit of all the people who worked so hard since long time ago till now, millions and millions, perhaps billions. That, and you know these people. We don't know these people. We don't know. And these people are neutral people. And for example, we can stay here very comfortably secured. Why? Because we know that there are, say there's a law. There's a law. What do you mean by law? Law that any burglars come, you can call the police and they will. There's some system there. This system is possible if there's a group of people. Just one family, you cannot have a system, right? In the wilderness, you cannot have a system. So this system is because of group of people. Do you know this group of people that makes you feel comfortable here? For example, in India, here we are sitting very comfortably. We don't expect any bomb suddenly attacking us because the borders are being secured by the security personals, and they are risking their life. But do you know these people? We don't know these people. It is their effort that we can stay very comfortably here. And we may think that, oh no, they are paid. Yes, they are paid. Yes, they are paid. But the point is that your life, how much is being paid? How much is being paid? And how much your contribution goes there? It's so less. And yet you get so much benefit that you can say, for example, your bomb is going to hit you, right? And I'll give you 100% protection. You have to give whatever money that you have. Will you give that? Yes. Yes, 100%. I'll give whatever I have. If you can give me 100% protection from somebody bombing you, you'll be happy to give that. But we don't have to give that. Yes, you can so comfortably stay. You're getting, because of these people, you do know them. You don't know them. They're risking their life. So think of this. We say everything that we enjoy, they are the efforts of the millions of people, generation after generation. Because of this, that we are so lucky they've enjoying this. Without their hands, what we are getting is impossible. Impossible. So therefore, let's say that, okay, let's say, okay, just pick up a pen. Okay, Bhumikaji, tell me, your pen, okay, your pen is very expensive, I know. Yeah, this is a pencil, right? Okay, Karen, tell me, your pen, how costly is this? Approximately 10 rupees. For 10 rupees, we are using such a pen. If this pen existed 2,300, 3,000 years ago, even the kings and queens, they did not have this pen. You agree with me or not? What were they using? They were using the feather, the quills. They are using the feather. Which is more effective, this pen or the feather? This pen, way, way, way more effective. You're getting it? The feather, you have to constantly put in ink, right? And your hands will be dirty, right? And the written is very uneven, but it's extremely even. And if your mother is to make this pen for you, if the mother is to make this pen just for you, customized pen for you, minimum it'll cost you billions of dollars. You're getting it? You have to extract the plastic. You extract the tip is metal. So metal is required. Mining, oil, petrol, and these big machines are required. So will cost you minimum billions of dollars. How come that you get it so cheap? Tell me. Anyone? Yes, Chingmela. It is because of the mass production. Mass production. What do you mean by mass production? Because that there are so many people buying the same object. Because of them, that this becomes so cheap. For example, the books. This book is quite costly because that we cannot go for mass production. Whereas if this book is to be produced for like million copies, it costs maximum like 40-50 rupees maximum if produce millions. But because it's produced only about like say 300, each costs you like minimum 500 rupees minimum. So look at the difference, 500 versus 30 rupees. The difference. Why this difference come? Because of so many people buying the same object. Because of that what you're getting is extremely luxurious one, yet at such a cheap price. And those days, kings and queens, they have the money. They have the whole wealth of the kingdom. But they did not get the privilege to use this because skills were missing. Then the mass production was missing. And these, what do you mean by these? It requires a lot of development over the ages. So how many millions of people's hands are involved? You do you know these people? We don't know these people. These are known as the neutral people. It's the neutral people's kindness, that we reap all the benefit. And the difficult people we said is before. So how does your compassion flow? Is that when you feel the other person's source of benefit, then your compassion flow. Your mind goes close towards the person. So near and dear ones, your mind goes close. The neutral beings, yes, okay, now this we never thought about this. This is very true. It's because of them that, and then so you feel the protection here. For example, you go to Bodhgaya, wherever we go now at the moment, there's a crowd there. Why we don't feel the fear that a burglar can strangle us? Because of the crowd. Crowd gives us a protection. So we see that we get a lot of benefit. Almost all the benefits are because of the neutral beings. Then finally, difficult people, because difficult people that you can progress very sophisticatedly. So all these say your enlightenment is because of identifying the removing the subtle self-centered attitude. How to remove the subtle self-centered attitude? First, we have to identify them, subtle selfishness. Who helps you to identify the subtle selfishness? Difficult people. Because you, after this retreat, you go home and you said that the mom will ask you, how's the retreat? Oh, it's beautiful, bodhicitta, right? It's beautiful, it's bodhicitta. What is bodhicitta? Compassion, universal compassion, right? And the mother looks at you, mother sees that you're very happy. Mother will say that, oh, wow, that's amazing, right? So the neighbor comes, knock at the door and says that, and you say, yes, right? Very nice tone. Yes. What? Yes, you have thrown garbage next to my door, right? And I said, no, I did not throw. I just came. You came and the garbage came, right? And no, I'm serious. What serious? You are the one. I'll sue you, right? And then and then the temperature heats up slowly, right? And then he says, no, I'm serious. Bodhicitta, right? Bodhicitta. No, I'm serious. No, I'm serious. I'll sue you, right? Hey, get out of my house, right? Get out of my house, right? I'll talk to you later. Get out, right? Let us, both of us, let us see in the court, right? Get out. And the poor mother, right? What happened, Bodhicitta, right? And then you know, that's true. Your mother could not help you identify the subtle self-centered attitude. Then your neighbor helped you. You're getting it? Only by identifying the subtle self-centered attitude, then you can get it treat this. Only by treating this, you become a Buddha. You're getting it? So Buddhahood is given to you by the most difficult people, right? And which is a greater benefit, Buddhahood or nice chocolate? There's no comparison. So whosoever gives you the better benefit, more benefit, your mind flows towards them more. So you love the difficult people even most in comparison with your near and dear ones. So this is how your mind flows towards all the beings. Okay. So with this, what is next? Special recognition done. Then altruism. So all these beings who I love so much, I must take the responsibility to make them not to suffer and to have the maximum happiness. And how going to do that? Next, bodhicitta, by me becoming a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, good. We'll stop here. Teyata Om Gati Gati Adagati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Three precisions together.